I'm so happy to introduce Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, who's the Delaware Congresswoman in the U.S. House of Representatives, who was able to take some time this afternoon and be with us. She's been a great supporter of Spur Impact and the Millsummit since its beginning. And she's not only working hard for the Delawareans, but certainly for the rest of the nation as well on infrastructure, voting rights, economic development, stimulus, and everything else in between. And I'm glad she's here today. And without further ado, Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. Okay, so I need to feel the love. I come out to this Millsummit since day one. I am a millennial at heart. I have two millennial children, but I believe I'm younger than they are. I'm a millennial at heart, so I need to feel the love. Millsummit, are you in the house? Are you in the house? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you why I'm a millennial at heart, because in this day and age, you are the ones that are making the difference. You are the ones that are pushing climate action. You are the ones that are pushing criminal justice reform. You are the ones that are saying our vote matters and that we are participating, we are showing up, and we are changing the world. So I just want to say I am happy to be here. It really wouldn't be a Lisa Blunt Rochester event or conversation if I didn't mention Beyonce and just talk about the fact that it is important for us to get information to be able to take action in addition to getting information. So I'm glad that you are at the Millsummit, and I am excited to introduce the keynote speaker. It's funny, I'm a woman of faith, so I don't believe in accidents or mistakes. And so I don't believe it was an accident that Jason, who works for me, we were in the car actually going to Sussex County, I think, or Kent County for an event. And all of a sudden, we started talking about country music and that, oh, you know, Jimmy Allen. He went to Dell State with me. I knew him from Dell State. He's music, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh wow, So I went home. This is a couple months ago, and I downloaded like as many of his songs as I could find, not knowing that first of all, I'm coming to the Millsummit. I don't care who's here. Mickey Mouse could be the one speaking, but I'm coming to the Millsummit. But then they said, would you like to introduce Jimmy Allen? I said, are you kidding me? No accidents, no mistakes. I am so excited and so proud to introduce him. And one of the reasons why is because he has this song that says, all tractors ain't green. I love that because basically what he's saying is, don't judge me by what I look like. And that's the message for you as millennials. Don't let anybody put you in a box or judge you. Delaware never had a woman in Congress. This tractor ain't green. Delaware never had a person of color in Congress. This tractor isn't green. And so to have him come and say, no, I can exceed expectations in the world of country music, and not just country, because he's got Nelly, he's got Pitbull, he's got all kind of people that he performs with as well. But I wanted to do something and introduce him in a special and different way. So I wrote, some of you know I love spoken word. And so in the car, I wrote what I call the JA playlist. And so I'm going to try to do air quotes when I get to any of his songs. Whether you're from Newcastle County, Kent, or Slow or Lower, all of y'all in Delaware know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we feel like underdogs. In the back of your mind, you ask yourself, do I fit? Or is it the tequila talking? That's another one of his songs. You've got flavor, and you're a warrior, and you deserve to be a superstar. So you pray, another song. Give it your best shot, number one song. Knowing all tractors ain't green, and you wait for it, and wait for it. And then you rise up, and you tell the world, this is us. This is us. We will shine. We will march. We will run, right, Medina? Right, Kyle? We'll run and run for office. And We will work and speak out. We will do all of this until the good times roll. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh man,
welcome
that's a
Jimmie
good.
Allen.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Jimmie Allen. I grew up in Milton, Delaware, place where it all happens, but nothing happens. Down there you got the beach, which is close. Soybean fields, cornfields. My daddy grew up. He was a military man. Listened to nothing but country music. My mom's from California. They grew up totally opposite. My mom's from like Berkeley, Richmond area. Uh, Dad's from Delaware. So, growing up had the mixture of both worlds with being raised in the country with my father, understanding kind of the blue collar way of life, and my mother being from the city, her transitioning to Delaware was cool because she kind of hit me to the way the world was and kind of a more aggressive type upbringing, kind of straight to the point, no BS, no excuses sort of thing. And she listened to just pretty much Christian music. So I remember being a kid trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to do music. I wanted to do TV, film, behind the camera, in front of the camera. And I went through different phases of types of music I sung, but it was always this one thing I remember watching. Like at high school, people figured out what they wanted to do, and all the jobs they wanted to do made sense to everyone else. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to take the college route, get a degree, then work the 9 to 5, and it worked, for them. But for me, I always felt like I just that's not me. And my biggest thing I always tell people is you got to find out what's best for you, not what's best for your parents or your grandparents or your siblings. Because no disrespect to them, they lived their life and they made their choices. The person you got to live your life for is you. So went to college. A lot of people go to college to get degrees. I kind of went to college to get a degree in people. Really, I was there about 2.5 years. I think I went to class twice. But it was good. It's a good experience. I met some of my lifelong friends, but I realized if I wanted to be an entertainer, I needed to understand how different types of people communicated. So coming from Milton, Delaware, where we all hunt, fish, chew tobacco, go to church and all that stuff, I was like, okay, great. I purposely went to an HBCU because all the black people I knew was like me. We small town, super chill. I was like, all right, if I want to do music, I need to understand how inner city people move, whether you're black, white, Asian, it don't matter. So after I left Del State, I enrolled at University of Delaware because I said I need to understand how different types of people that go to UD move because they're two completely different schools. So once I felt like I got my degree in people, I remember I told my family I was moving to Nashville, and they were like, "When?" I said, "Tomorrow." I said, "Really?" So I packed up my little Chevy Malibu, went to Walmart, bought an air mattress. I had $21 in my bank account, and I was like, "Okay, how do I finesse this?" When you put gas in your car on credit, it only charges you $1 for like 2 days. So I said, "Bet I can get to Nashville easy." I could find me a job. So that's kind of what I did. I moved down there with $21, and on the way down, I would stop at different places, use a computer for Craigslist to find a place to live. I didn't have a place to live yet. So I found this trailer in this town called Spring Hill, which is in the middle of nothing. This lady had this trailer on like 18 acres. There wasn't any electric in it, and I didn't have no money to turn the electric on. But I was like, well, I don't really need that because I'm only going there to sleep anyway. So lived there for a while. Um, the lady wanted to sell the trailer. I was like, well, how much you want to sell it for? She was like, 300. I was like, yeah, I ain't got that. So I lived in my car for a while, but the car situation I tell people really wasn't that bad because I feel like if your goal is here, whatever you got to do to get there, that doesn't matter. That's just right now. I never really worried about right now. To me, it's all about where you want to go and the sacrifice you got to make to get there. So I lived in my car for a while, so I would get to this gym where I was working at. I would get there in the morning, about 5 a.m., wash my clothes, get a workout in. I worked in a snack bar, so I borrowed food to eat. You know what I'm saying? And just started networking. I met, Christian artists, country artists. I became friends with T-Roy. T-Roy was in my dad's favorite country duo, Montgomery Gentry. Became friends with him, uh, Rodney Atkins. Uh, I met BB Winans there, met CC Winans and all these different other artists, and just kind of started spending time talking to them at the gym, kind of understanding the business and the networking side, understanding the difference between having talent and having the drive. Because I feel like talent is 10% of what you want to get out of life. The other 90% is being able to withstand through the words no. Um, and in the words no, understanding that there's going to be people that you're friends with that are family that don't quite understand your vision. And that's the hardest thing that most people give up, because if most people have 100 people telling them, hey, you should try this, and it seems easier and the money seems like it makes more sense, they go that way. But at some point in your life, you'll be like, damn, I'm not really happy. So I purposely never stayed at a job for longer than 6 months. Because what happens is, if you're at a job for 6 months and you're financially comfortable, you can take care of yourself and take care of your family, you feel like that's it. Oh man, I've made it. But not really, because to me, making it is the internal success. And the internal success comes from what makes you completely happy. If you're making $100 a month or $1 million a month, it doesn't matter as long as you're happy. So I never wanted to get comfortable. I remember this insurance company offered me a job because I met this guy working at the gym. He said, yeah, we'll start you up at $95,000 a year. I was like, yeah, how many days a week I got to work? He's like, 5. I said, yeah, it ain't gonna work. He said, man, you know how many people would want this job? I said, great, well, give it to them. Because I don't want it. That's not my path. And I feel like the one consistent thing over my journey, and if you talk to anyone that's successful, it's following your own path. You know what I'm saying? Like doing what makes you happy no matter the circumstances. So when I was in the car, remember I was waiting on my check to come through for like 3 days. So I didn't eat for 3 days. Not eating for 3 days sucks, by the way. Let me tell you, it is not, it's not fun. But when you realize that's just what you have to go through, you know what I mean, to get to where you want. And that's the biggest thing, no matter, because life has obstacles all the time. So it's not about the obstacles. It's about you figuring out how you're going to get through it, around it, or over it. There's always going to come. You might want to hold on to that phone, Hoss. I'm going to break that. If you got AT&T, take them suckers about a week to get you a new one, Hoss. You be like Kanye on a laptop. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. Boom. Uh, but yeah, like I tell people all the time, it's having the vision. And I remember someone was like, well, Jim, what do you want to do? I said, I'm at the place where I want to do country music, because I grew up listening to country. I sung rock before, I sung Christian, I sung R&B, I sung everything. But country was the one format where I could mix all the sounds of music I like together, but be myself. I could chew my tobacco, I could wear my boots, I could wear my small jeans, I could talk about Milton. Um, they was like, well, you realize you're a black guy from Delaware trying to do country music. I said, well, no crap. I had no idea. You know what I mean? But to me, that's no excuse. No matter, again, the barriers shouldn't have any impact on the quality you put out of whatever product you're pushing, whatever your work ethic is. Like the barriers has no way on that. I was like, no matter how hard it might be, that doesn't affect the type of music I put out or how good it is, how much effort I put into it. So before my dad died, he used to always tell me, make yourself available. It's the biggest thing in chasing a dream. Always be available. And that became true because I remember I was working. There was a little stint where after my son was born, I was writing songs from like 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then I'd work at Bonefish Grill from like 4 to 10. And then 4 days a week after that, I'd work at Walmart from 11 p.m. to 6 in the morning. So during that span, I started teaching myself to learn how to function on 3 hours of sleep. And I was like, well, I got to do it because I got a son. And even though I'm chasing a dream, your kids should never have to suffer because you're not where you want to be in life. You know what I mean? So that was my biggest thing for picking up that extra job. So this guy, which is so weird, that took my job at the gym in the snack bar, texted me and said, "Hey, come by the gym. There's a producer that might have an opportunity for you." So went to the gym, met this guy. He said, "Hey, I have a writers round. That's where you have three artists, three songwriters on stage, and they go down the road singing songs they wrote, whether they wrote the songs for them or for other artists." So I called out of both jobs. I went because I'm like, well, I can play music. Then I found out that they were going to pay me $200 and I got a free meal. I was like, oh, we in there. That's easy. This was February 2016. This is after being in Nashville for almost 10 years at the time. So I get there, play my songs. Then afterwards, this guy named Ash Bowers comes up to me and said, "Hey, man, who you signed to?" I was like, "Nobody." He said, "What you got going on?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "What do you got going on?" He said, "Well, I run a small little publishing company, but if there's anyone in town you want to meet, I'll introduce you to whoever you want." And I said, "Well, tell me more about you." So he had this small publishing company that, he tried to sign artists before, but, a lot of artists get so wrapped up in the big company names and all the BS that people sell you. And I was like, "Well, tell me more about you." So I ended up signing with Ash. He offered me a publishing deal, which paid twice as much as any other publishing company in town would do. So what I liked about Ash was he was a small company, but he believed in me. And that's the biggest thing. Finding someone that believes in what you have to offer. Because I've seen artists and I've seen people sign with companies, whether no matter what the field of work is, based off of what a company has done for someone else. And me personally, I don't give a damn what a company has done for someone else because that has nothing to do with me. And that's the biggest thing that you have to remember. Your path is your path. Your journey is your journey. So finding the people that support you where you are and where you want to go is the biggest thing, no matter how big their company name might be or not. So I signed with Ash. People said he was crazy for signing a black dude. People said I was crazy for signing with him. But the cool thing is we had no pressure. We were able to put our head down and just work. So we wrote my first single, my first number one, Best Shot. During that time we wrote Make Me Want To, which was my second single, my second number one. So when we did this label showcase, a bunch of different record labels came out, and this company, BMG bought this company called Broken Bow. Broken Bow has had Jason Aldean, Dustin Lynch, Runaway June, Granger Smith, all these country artists like that. But they were a small company. So they offered me a deal, and UTA, United Talent Agency, offered me a deal. But in country music, UTA isn't that big. They're big in pop, they're big in hip hop, they're big in film, television. But in country, their biggest act was Toby Keith. But I was looking at, okay, they're interested in me. Their biggest act right now is Toby Keith. I didn't see any competition with any younger guys kind of currently in the spotlight. So I'm like, man, that works for me because again, your path, your journey. And if we're being honest, you got to be selfish. You have to. It's impossible to take care of someone else until you take care of yourself first. Because I know a lot of times people teach you shouldn't be selfish, you shouldn't be selfish, but you should. When chasing your dream and chasing your journey, you have to be selfish because there's no way you can get to where you want to go if you're worried about everyone else. It's like, for instance, it's like I look at it like keeping your cup full. If your cup's not full, what do you have to run on? You can't. Everyone else should get the overflow, but you got to do whatever it takes to make sure your cup stays full. You keep your cup full, that overflow, that's what you give to everyone else. So people made it fun of me for signing with UTA because they weren't that big in country. They made fun of me for signing with BMG because they were the newly bought label and they were the smaller label. But again, they connected with me, my journey, what I wanted to do. Never had to sacrifice. Then, now we're sitting at, that was 10 years. Took 10 years to get a record deal. But I compare that to trying to be a doctor or nurse. That takes forever too. Like you got 4 years of undergrad and then all that other stuff afterwards. I tell people, whatever you're chasing, give yourself 8 to 10 years. And in that 8 to 10 years, while you're working on your craft, while you're working on your ideas, continue to network. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And there's going to come a time when you got to cut people out of your life. I don't care if it's your parents, your siblings, your friends, anyone that's toxic to what you're trying to build has to go, because all that negative energy, the only thing that does is it slows you down. And that's the biggest thing. When you talk to anyone that's successful at the height of where they wanted to go, you hear you got to be selfish. You got to cut people out of your life that's not for you. And just because someone's related to you doesn't mean they're for you. You know what I mean? You got to surround yourself with people that believe in what you're doing, people that push you to be better, people that call you on your BS, people that don't let you make excuses. Anyone you have in your life that creates excuses for you or lets you be lazy or lets you slack off, they gotta go. That's not the people you need in your life. So, we're at a place now where I can finally help other people. I'm in a place where I'm signing other artists now. I'm helping friends with their business ventures. I'm able to come back to Delaware and do charity events in my hometown. I wouldn't have been able to do it 5 years ago. But now we do this thing every December where I come home, I play a free show. We charge for the tickets, but I don't take money for the show. We take all that money and we give to a school in Delaware. So this will be the third year doing it. First year we raised $20,000 for school. Next year we raised $20,000 for a school. There's a nonprofit up here in Wilmington, Duffy's Hope, that we give a lot of money to. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't take care of myself first. And that's the biggest thing, taking care of you so you can take care of everybody else. And at the end of the day, it's about being a good person, working hard, and giving back. But again, the only way to give back, take care of yourself first. So yeah, there you go.
All right.
Cheers.
All right, now to join Jimmie on the stage, Delaware's own Blake Saunders, a guy who knows a lot about failure. More than anybody, he'll tell you about that. That's his own thing.
Did he say you know a lot about failure?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Listen. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how would it begin. Jimmie, you just told us I was supposed to be asking you a lot of questions, but you just told the world everything.
Oh, you can still ask him.
You still ask him
I'll reword them.
We're good. We're making good time.
Yeah,
Listen, my name is Blake. Blake Saunders, Blake the Brain. And when I heard you was coming to town, I said, listen, I have to be the one who gets on stage and interviews Jimmie, because we actually went to college together. Went to Delaware State University. Any Hornets out there?
Hornets.
State. I see my Delaware State Hornets.
First.
Don't worry about it. UD, y'all okay. UD.
Blue hens in the house.
It's all right. It's cool.
I tell myself I'm 2/3 Hornet, 1/3 Blue hen.
You're definitely a Hornet.
Yeah, you're definitely a Hornet.
You're definitely a Hornet. It is so funny, man. All jokes aside, man, I'm very, very, very proud of you. To get to the level where you are right now. I mean, I know we got like 30 minutes now to dive into it, but this is a real brief story. I know you talked about you went to R&B and you just put all of this music inside of one. And he had this song called "The Perfect Stranger."
Yeah.
And we was talking about it backstage, and it was actually a ringtone on my phone for this girl. She was from New York. I didn't know her, but I got to know her, so the song was perfect. And that's when I first heard your music. It was "Perfect Stranger." To see you where you are now. And my first question would be to you is, being African-American, Black, coming from Milton, Delaware, most people told you should do R&B. When you transitioned over to country music, was it something that you felt that was natural, or did you feel any pressure to stay within the hip hop and the R&B lane?
To me, the country was natural. For me, I talked about it with your brother Clint a lot. Clint told me, he's like, Jimmie, who you are as a person, it's not really the hip hop R&B world. You know what I mean? Clint, and I remember Clint, we talked about it. Just, you got to be you. And for me, the country thing was natural. Now, other people looking at it, it didn't seem natural to them. But who I am and how I was raised, it was super natural, man.
Gotcha. And I see you got this Dale Made hat. And sorry, I gotta go really, really, really quick, because he's definitely representing Delaware. I was watching an interview that you did on it was on the Ellen Show. So first of all, to see you on the Ellen Show was amazing, right? Yeah. He was asking you a question. He talked about how you were the first African American to win that 2020 award at the CMAs. But I was paying attention to your hat. It said Delaware Made. How does that make you feel, being a representative of Delaware, being on that stage? Do you feel any pressure? How does it make you feel? Just, put Delaware on the map.
Man, it's no pressure, man. To me, I look at it more like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I look at every time I wear this hat, it reminds me of all the people I have here supporting me. You know what I mean? It's like Delaware it made me. If I hadn't have grown up here, how I grew up, I don't think I would be where I am. You know what I mean? With my mother, my father, my siblings, my friends from high school, my friends from college, all that happened in Delaware. And I feel like all that adds to your story and it shapes you to who you are, man. So I wear it proudly, man.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
You better,
People gonna get sick
absolutely.
of seeing Del
Look,
Man.
I'm being honest. I said, once we make it, like you said, it's an 8-year, 10-year journey,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Once you make it, I always said, I'm definitely going to represent Delaware. I'm definitely going to represent Wilmington. That's where I'm from. Like you represent Milton. Which kind of transition to coming out of Del State, Delaware. You left in 2007. You had a 10-year journey, right? Before you actually were founded, what did you say to yourself to keep yourself pushing for that dream? Like if someone's out there who has dreams of becoming an artist, how do you get through all those hard times? We talk about failures. Failure is dope because you're gonna have a lot of struggles along the way. Like you said, you were sleeping in the car, $21, all of that. What did you say to yourself to get through those struggling times? For 10 years.
This is right now. That's it. And I put that lyric in the song. I did this song with Tim McGraw called "Made for These." There's a lyric that says,
Humble brag right there, by the way.
Yeah,
humble brag.
yeah.
McGraw, okay.
Drop
brag. Drop that right there.
But I wrote this song and it said, what is it? Timing isn't always right, no matter how bad you want it to be. Whatever. Then it says, what is it? All of those times you get up for the letdown. Remember to tell yourself, forever isn't right now. And that's something I told myself all the time. Like, this is just a moment. You know what I mean? It's it. And the success, most people might consider being conceited or being cocky, but I feel like I deserve it. I worked for it. I put the time in, like you see guys, Kobe, when he was taking his game-winning shot, he felt he deserved to take that shot because he put the practice in to be able to take that shot. And that's the same way I look at music and where I want to go. I feel like I don't deserve it because, me as a person. I deserve it because of the work I've put in to get to this point, and that's kind of what I always told myself. I deserve that. I'm going to get that,
I got you. So, that brings another point. Listen, I don't know how much where we are with time. We might go over.
We're good.
We're good? We're
Yeah.
good. So.
What day is it?
Okay, yeah.
Don't even matter.
Don't even matter. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like you said, time. This is now, right? And I was watching another interview, you and Brad, right? I remember him. And I'll be completely honest, I didn't know a lot about country music, even though the one song I really liked was Nelly and
Floyd Drew the Line?
No.
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw, over and over again. I know,
again.
I used to play that joint over and over again, literally. And country always had like a little bit of a vibe to it, right? So now, fast forward, you're getting awards, you're blowing up, and a lot of people always ask you, how does it feel being a Black country artist, being out there? And I think the main thing you always say, you want to change the narrative about it should be normal to be in front of a crowd and be a Black country artist. But I think I want to go into a little bit of a deeper point. How important is it for you to try to change the mentality to be able to get some young Black kids who grow up in the inner city to be okay listening to country music? What do you say to that?
I say that takes artists like myself, Darius, the OG, Charlie Pride, rest in peace, Kane, Mickey Guyton, Brittany Spencer from Merlin, Breland, Willie Jones to keep creating music because I felt comfortable doing country music when I was a kid once my dad showed me a picture of Charlie Pride. I was like, this is a Black guy that was selling 70 million records in the 60s. There's no way I'm going to go through what he went through then. And it takes, me, an artist, Black artist, playing the music, takes our networks supporting the genre. We have to be okay with being country music. If, whether it goes from country music to the weird movies we like, we have to be okay with it. And hence why I talk about my love for Disney all the time, because there's someone listening that loves Disney, but might not want to say it too much. But if they see an artist like me or an artist, someone else that they like, openly, okay with people knowing about what they're into, that gives them confidence. So that's what we have to do as Black listeners, as Black creators, as Black gatekeepers in media, as Black artists, to be okay with, hey, this is cool. Matter of fact, not just this, whatever the hell you want to do is cool. So.
All right, we need to pass the collection plate around. That's good. Yeah, look, brother, you inspired me, brother. Look, I'm about to go start a country podcast or something. I don't even know. I told you we could dive in. I wish I had like a whole 2 hours. But right now, I've been looking at you, brother, and you're doing some things. You're very like I said, we went to college together. So to see where he is right now, I've seen the growth that fast, right? And then it was like all of a sudden, like yo, you see Jimmie? He was on a country music award. Matter of fact, I DM'd you on Instagram. I said, you just was on awards. And he DM'd me right back. Yo, thanks, brother. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's Jimmie. But I look at your interviews. I watch you. You're very smart, very intelligent. How you maneuver, and I like how you're diversifying yourself right now, right? So now you got a book that just came out. You got a docu-series about to come out. Am I right, on Netflix? Coming out really soon.
Chinatown High.
Yep. And you have your music festival, which is going to happen this Saturday. Is country music going to be number one, or do you have a big future plan that's where country music might take a little bit of a backseat? Am I going into?
No, country music is always there for me. Because for me, you know what got me into country music? It ties me into where I'm from. It ties me into.
I'm wrong with it, brother. True emotion.
Ties me to my father. So that's never going any damn where. For me, it's the one genre of music that always brings back memories to my dad, and the times we had, the times we could have had that was taken away. But yeah, it's never going anywhere, man. It's family. But I love all types of music. So whatever I do, there will always be music for everyone involved. Because to me, it's less about this, more about this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have country lyric, but at the same time have a pop R&B progression in the melody with a rock-based production to where everyone feels something familiar. It ties them in. I'm like, damn, I don't know where I heard this song before, but I like it.
Right.
And they might like it because of the lyric. They might like it because of the way it makes them feel. Mm-hmm. They might like it because the melody seems similar. That's the reason why I purposely did my last album, Betty James Gold Edition. It's like a playlist.
Yeah, I was gonna dive into that too.
Yeah,
you got a collab of different genres of music, different genres of people.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys checked it out. You got Babyface on there.
Monica,
you got Pitbull,
Big Town, Keith Urban, Mickey Guyton, Charlie Pride, Darius Rucker, Brad Paisley. The fact that all them people even said yes, but I hit them suckers up during the quarantine when they had nothing else to do anyway. Right. Everybody sitting their ass at home like, what do I do? But yeah, man, but country will always be number one because that's me. That music is my history. That music's my family. But I will always create music. And that's how I do it. I create what I love. I love country, but also love R&B. I love hip hop. I love pop. I love folk. I love jazz. I love bluegrass. Mm-hmm. So I always find a way to incorporate, everything.
Everything cool. And see you incorporating. And now, sorry guys, we didn't get too emotional up there. I appreciate you. Just being vulnerable.
Yeah. Killing me. I wasn't expecting
my fault, man. Look,
asshole,
listen,
bro.
It's something about. And I know, and I could be speaking for most of the black men in here. When we talk about our fathers, it's a little bit different, right? Yeah. Whether your father was there or if he wasn't there, talking about it and being vulnerable, no matter what. When I talk about my father, sometimes I get vulnerable. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because getting to a certain place in manhood, you start understanding who you are, and you understand that. I always say, even men got daddy issues.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It might not be from the perspective of how women might have those issues, but it could be good or bad. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna transition right on over. So now, you're a family man. You just got married not too long ago. Just had a daughter a few years ago. You got 2 children. And You talk about Disney World a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So right now it seems like you're having a great life. You're up there. You're living in this fantasy world. Do you ever have a fear that it can be taken just like that? And how do you deal with that?
I always have that fear. I think that's the motivation why I don't
I'm not
stop.
going with it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't stop, because I feel like that fear you have of losing everything doesn't really bother me because I've been broke. I've been homeless. I've not eaten, So being able to, I'm like, if I can fight through that at the lowest point with no connections and no success, I can keep fighting through it now. And that's why I don't stop. I'm sure a break would be cool, but no, man, I feel like the empire I'm trying to create isn't just for me. It's to create jobs for family, for friends, for other people. I started 2 businesses during quarantine last year in Delaware, and we were able to hire about 50 people.
Do you need a hype man?
Huh?
Like a host or something? I can bring you out to all these shows when you give people jobs. I couldn't get the PPE loan. Can I come with you?
Hell yeah. So we dived into the merch game, septic company, transportation company that hauls like dirt and gravel and stuff. And we were able. I know nothing about dump trucks, but I was, we got 6 dump trucks. I was able to, hire people that drive them. You know what I mean? Was able to, with the septic company and all these other things. It's, so for me, it's like about expanding. And someone asked, well, why do you do that? The reason why you go this way is because if your foundation is narrow, once you get to a certain height, it tips over. But the wider your foundation, the higher you can go. If you look at buildings, they have their purpose. You don't see 20-story buildings with the foundation like this because it can't handle the altitude. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I want to go like this. Because I focus more this way than that way. Because if you go this way, has no choice but to go that way. So.
See over here dropping gems. That's a quotable. Make sure you put it on Twitter. Right?
Put that on Twitter.
Make sure you put it on Twitter. I know we got a few minutes left, right? So I want to go into some of the audience questions. They're watching you guys online. I mean, I have a ton of questions. If you want to go deep, I wanted to go deep because most of the time when I interview someone, I like to learn about the person, talk about the person. You know what I mean? You're doing great things out there and great accolades. But I always like to talk about issues and situations that a lot of us can definitely relate to, right?
Yeah. What you got?
So you ready? We can go in. Charlie, I can go in. Charlie, if Charlie gives me a thumbs up, I can go in.
Yeah. Shut up. What's up, Charlie?
Okay, I'm gonna get one of the questions for the audience, but this is one of the questions I always like to ask people, right? So I got this thing called failure is dope, right? It's failures and goals. What it is changing the narrative about failure because a lot of people are afraid to fail because it has a negative connotation to it, right? Same way you might look at somebody might have thought of when you said, "Yo, I want to be a black country artist." They're like, "What? What are you talking about? Like going to R&B? You're black. Going to R&B, going to hip hop, and just changing this narrative. Failure is dope." And I always say the biggest lessons are in failure if you take it and grow from it. So on this journey, what has been the biggest failure or the struggles that you had to overcome or still fighting to overcome?
Man,
personally,
I think
on this one. I'm waiting for this one.
Yeah. For me, it was at first being comfortable being different. That started when I was younger. I would think.
So what I mean, like, was you worried about acceptance from your peers?
For a lot of times when I was younger, that was the biggest thing for me because, especially when you're in middle school, when you're in high school, and you're in college, you want to fit in. You want people to see you, and you see other people being greeted by other people. You want to be greeted too. So a lot of times you might find yourself doing things or wearing certain things or being into certain things that you don't only fool with because you want to be accepted. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be accepted. That's why we create categories. That's why we create boxes, because we want to say, I'm in this box. And hey, you belong over here with me, or you belong over there with me. So for the longest time, that was my biggest thing, especially even being in Nashville. Like, because when I went there in 2007, the only black dude in country music was Charlie Pride. Darius Rucker didn't come over till 2008. So, I found myself not really fitting in. I didn't have any friends. And then, I don't know, I remembered conversations with my mother, with my father, and just watching different documentaries of you don't need people to feel validated.
Absolutely.
Only validations that matters is the one you give yourself. And, no offense to whoever takes this the wrong way, but people that don't validate you, F them. You don't need them. You don't. And that's just facts.
Sure.
We a lot of times spend so much time worried about the opinions of other people that don't give a damn about us to begin with.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So again, I say it all the time. It's self-esteem. How you feel about yourself, not other people's esteem. It doesn't matter what someone calls you, how they think about you. That should not affect how you feel about you. I get called the craziest stuff every day on social media. I just deal with it, because my thing is I like red bandanas. So when I was at the Kennedy Honors honoring Garth, some guy commented and said, "So you have this thug from Compton and da da da." He said all this other stuff. So I like to troll people. So I screenshotted it and posted it on my Twitter. My fans tore his ass up. But this is also a guy that had a Facebook created that said, "Say no to racism and anti-Semitic, all this other stuff." And I'm like, bro, then, this one guy called me on Instagram. He's like, "So when did they start letting porch monkeys from Delaware sing country music?" I'm like, I started laughing at it.
Right.
You know why? Because you have to tell yourself something to get through it. The fact is, I'm doing great. He's sitting somewhere, probably in his mama's basement, unhappy, just got dumped by a girlfriend because he's overweight on my social media page.
I mean, it's right there. It's really right there. I mean, we didn't even.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
so that's how I try to look at everything.
Yeah.
Man. What's the facts? Why are you really mad, bro?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Has nothing to do with you.
Has nothing to do with me.
you.
You mad at yourself.
Right.
So talk to yourself about that. But yeah, that's kind of how I handle situations like that. I try to find the silver lining in it. And remember, at the end of the day, no matter how someone feels about what I'm doing, I'm good. I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with myself. Happy with my life. Yeah.
So you still gonna hire me, right?
Yeah, what you need?
I told you, I'm a hype man. I will listen. I'm
I
gonna be the
told you
best
I'm a hype
hype man.
man.
I will go right out there with a red bandana.
Lauren, write it down. Tell Dave put hype man in the budget.
No, put it in the budget, okay? Put it in the budget.
Oh, I'm
All
still
right.
cheap though. I'm still cheap.
Still cheap.
I'm still cheap.
I know we got a little bit of time, but I want you to do your plugs really quick, because I know you got the fest coming up. Guys.
Yeah. We didn't answer a fan question. What you got? If I could give my younger self a piece of advice, it would be keep going. You're doing right. Trust your gut. That is at the end of the day, bro. That's my message all the time. Trust your gut, not statistics, not people's opinion, not even facts. I don't even care about facts. Because if we went off of facts and statistics, I would not be doing country music right now.
Definitely would.
My first two singles would have not been, number one.
Perfect Stranger was number one with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I still like Perfect Stranger. I tried to find it on YouTube, by the way. Couldn't find it.
I told you
I need that video.
I'm gonna get it for you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, if I worried about media and sometimes how they push the narrative of racism. Okay, why am I a black guy in Alabama and Mississippi selling 3,000 tickets to my show?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have a crowd of predominantly white people coming to see my black ass in Alabama. That's why I don't trust statistics. I don't trust facts. I trust this, because people can say this has never been done before. Great. It's going to be done now.
Absolutely.
And after it's done now, the people say, well, you know who did it first? Whoever that person was. Like you have all these people that created the first of everything, that did the first something. Before that, they were told before, it's never been done before. Well, of course it's never been done before because nobody did it.
Right. Exactly.
So get it done. That's how I look at it.
Listen, man, keep getting it done. They give me the cue. Keep getting it done. Like you said, he has a book that just came out.
Yeah, My Voice is the Trumpets.
Yeah.
Kids book.
Yeah, kids book,
man.
children's book. I know. Listen, I'll go ahead and do all your plugs.
Yeah, new
right?
album,
your
Betty
plugs.
James
Yeah,
Gold
do it, man.
Edition out now. My Voice is the Trumpet, my first ever children's picture book, teaching the kids to use their voice, the importance of believing in themselves. new Netflix docu-series. I am the music director and wrote the theme song for it called Title Town High. Comes out August 27th. Got some more TV stuff in the works for later this year.
I
I'm
see
excited
you working,
about.
bro. I see you working,
I gotta
man.
keep the bills paid, bro.
You got listen. I see. This,
Listen.
I knew you made it when I see you in the picture with Dak Prescott.
And I'm an
Fishing.
Eagles fan.
And fishing.
Yeah, and I'm an Eagles fan.
I said, oh, this brother.
I did tell him that the whole trip.
Yeah, to tell
Fly,
me.
I've sung Fly Eagles Fly to him. As a matter of fact, I texted to him 2 days ago. I'm an Eagles fan.
Humble brag again. Yeah,
Eagles
text, yeah,
fan.
go ahead, text him. This is my guy. Listen, I appreciate you
Man,
coming
thank
through.
you.
I know they said we got to go. We got to get up out of here, right, Charlie? One more question?
You gonna
I want
text?
to get somebody in the audience.
Yeah.
What's your question, Lovely?
Hey. Oh man, that's a good.
I'm gonna repeat the question just for the people on online.
Yeah.
Her question was, "What do you want your legacy to be?" Correct? Yes. Love the accent, by the way. Amen.
She said it's not an act.
No.
You get that?
I see that.
You see what I did? That's a dad joke. Yeah.
You're a dad now.
Yeah, I'm a dad. About soon to be 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's pregnant doing.
Congratulations! Breaking news.
Yeah. Yeah. She big. She's out there.
Oh, I ain't know, brother.
Listen, I want 7. I want people to think I'm Mormon. Can
I
you
bet
say that?
You can't be cheap with 7 kids.
But you can.
But you better save that money.
What I want my legacy to be. I want my legacy to be that Jimmie was somebody who cared, worked hard, didn't make excuses, and did whatever it took to be successful, to provide for his family and the people in his circle.
There it is. All right. Is that it? One more? I think that's it. I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up one time for the corner. Jimmie Allen. We appreciate you guys joining us online. Appreciate you. Look, I don't know if he was at downstate, he was skinny. Now he works out like he's bigger than me. And I played football at the time.